Hi, I am Susan Ellenberg, and welcome to my latest edition of And Just One More Thing. Recently, I attended the annual Trans Day of Remembrance ceremony, and as always, was just very moved by the speakers, the memories that were shared of folks in the trans community who were lost far too soon, either by their own hands or as a result of violence, occasionally of illnesses or other traumas. But it really just made me think about how difficult it continues to be to navigate the world as a member of the transgender community, and certainly still so many challenges for the LGBTQ community at large. So I invited a guest today to talk with me about what the current landscape looks for. So please hang on and I'll be right back. Welcome back. Today, my guest is Sera Fernando, who is the manager of the county's Office of LGBTQ Affairs. And before I bring Sera on, I just want to share a moment of pride, I guess, maybe pun intended, that our Office of LGBTQ Affairs, which was created by my predecessor, former Supervisor Ken Yeager, was the very first office of its kind in the entire country. So stick around for my conversation with Sera. I am back with Sera Fernando, who is the manager of the Office of LGBTQ Affairs. And I always love talking with you, and I always learn so much. And what I'm hoping to do today is to really get your feedback and reflections on what I see as the two parallel crises right now, two of the crises facing the LGBTQ community. We can talk maybe first about the impacts of H.R. 1, Trump's big but hideous bill that cuts so much of our safety net services. And then next about the legal front of what rights are continuing to be eroded for this community. So I'm happy to turn it to you and listen.
Yeah, since the big beautiful bill, or HR 1, since the beginning of this year, January 2025, I remember the month very clearly because there were 5 distinct federal executive orders that were released through the Trump administration. Those executive orders affect trans women being able to participate in sports, trans folks being able to participate or be enlisted in the military. There's also gender affirming care, especially for LGBTQ, or in this case, trans youth. There's also the ability to
the gender affirming care now being prohibited under 18. Is that what it?
It's not necessarily prohibited, but it does put out there that, and the way it's worded is genital, is it mutilation? It's a really like charged language against the transgender community, and it's nothing that's been put in order, but right now, currently throughout the nation, around 27 states, so more than half of the states, have restrictions on gender affirming care, especially for youth. Other things is the ability to teach LGBTQ plus curriculum in school. And I forget the one more, but we'll probably I'll probably like uncover that once we once we keep on talking. I'll probably like say, oh yeah, there's that one. Yeah.
So, talk to me about the dive in a little bit more around healthcare issues, food access, housing, all of those pieces which affect such a broad community. What do you think is a distinct or disproportionate impact on this community?
I think disproportionately with the trans and gender expansive community, the ability to be even able to access healthcare, gender affirming care, and housing and not face a level of discrimination or uncomfort or being able to just be seen as a human. And the number of services that are available, it's it's dehumanizing in a sense where trans folks need to be respected in spaces, and that's why we see a lot of spaces by and for trans folks. So here in Santa Clara County, we have shelters like the New Haven Inn. That is LGBTQ specific, more so trans specific. We also have the Gender Health Center through Valley Medical Center that helps support trans folks with gender affirming care. So with the level of safety net services, those are available. But what we're seeing through federal administration, how executive orders, they tend to influence a lot of the decisions by the hospitals and the healthcare providers that are, throughout the nation. And here specifically, within the state of California, we could count like the Los Angeles Children's Medical Center, Stanford Health, as well as Kaiser Permanente, letting go of their gender affirming health programs for transgender minors. And I think that is
I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah, and it's a huge opportunity for us to be able to understand. And in California, there is policies that protect folks from being able that protect folks to be able to access gender affirming care, to have that continuous care.
But you have to have the providers
and
that are offering it.
That's true. And with the providers, the thing with the providers is that it's more emblematic, right? And one thing I've been hearing within the community is preemptive compliance. And that's a word that in the LGBTQ plus community, where organizations are preemptively complying to the federal administration.
Right, we're seeing that with a lot of the universities around DEI broadly.
And it's the thing is that with the programs, there's still gender affirming care out there. It's just that they eliminated the programs. This is kind of like how the federal administration is continuing to dissolve the programs that are available.
It's actually interesting if all of this could flip and we wouldn't need designated programs, because gender affirming care falls within the scope of healthcare. I think we've only really needed even the DEI programs because populations were excluded from what was meant to be the norm or the standard. And if that, I mean, no chance now, but if that concept can take hold in a better way, theoretically, we shouldn't need those additional supports. But that's a big theory up there.
And the thing is that, like, there is so much available, trainings, cultural competency courses and curriculum offered by the many services, from our behavioral health services to the Office of LGBTQ Affairs, to a lot of the community-based organizations that here within this area. There's available kind of like cultural competency trainings for providers to be able to give gender affirming care without the need of like having a gender affirming care kind of like center, right? But it's all about making sure that like the healthcare providers, be it offered by the county or private, are able to prioritize and make sure that we, at the end of the day, we're just making sure that people live long and healthy lives. So I mean,
which is literally all any of us want.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you, I promise I'll lift us up next, but what are you kind of most worried about in the immediate and medium term?
I think what I'm most worried about now, what comes top of mind, is support for parents and the parents of transgender youth and transgender families to be able to access needs for their family. And the reason why I say, like, we just had a Transgender Day of Remembrance event. The county also had one of the biggest Transgender Day of Visibility events earlier this year, back in March. And we also had our biggest LGBTQ plus or Silicon Valley Pride contingent for the county, which
I
is,
love all of
yeah,
that.
it's so we know that folks are on board, but I think
Mm-hmm.
what is currently lacking is for trans families to be able to empower themselves and find the resources that are available, which we have access to.
Okay.
But
Where should they look if trans parents
yeah,
are watching this? And of course, I hope they are.
yeah,
Where do they go?
yeah. There's several groups. There's
Okay.
this one new group that I learned about through ACS Services outlet out in San Mateo. They also service Santa Clara County,
Okay.
and they have a clinical parent kind of like group that's
Mm-hmm.
starting in 2026. There's also the LGBTQ youth space that has.
Yeah.
And looks like you're a fan. So they offer supports for both families and parents and
Okay.
children. There's also the Q Corner for mental health services. There's also PFLAG that has all sorts of nationally
Mm-hmm.
known kind of like
Mm-hmm.
services. And there's also Trans Families of Silicon Valley. So there's a
Okay.
lot of resources that are available. It's all about making sure that folks are connected. And I think with the resources that are available, making sure that those kind of like groups have
Yeah.
access to legal supports, mental health supports, physical health
Mm-hmm.
supports,
Mm-hmm.
because right now I know it's really tough to be a parent in this day and age
Right.
when a lot of the attacks are against trans youth in particular.
Thank you so much for uplifting that. And
Yeah,
it's actually wonderful to think of more and more parents supporting their trans children,
yeah,
and maybe we have fewer and fewer people to honor at transgender day of remembrance,
yeah,
as children less often feel alienated or rejected by their families.
yeah, yeah.
um, I want to end, of course, with something positive, and we've been talking about the LGBTQ community right now in terms of challenges.
Mm,
This is also a community with so many assets and strengths, whether in the arts, in more in elected office, which
yeah.
I love to see,
Hmm.
and of course, just in so many sectors across our communities.
Hmm.
What do you feel the most proud of or excited about?
What I am most proud of and excited about, and I think it
Yeah.
happened recently at Transgender Day of Remembrance.
Hmm.
For the longest time, I thought I was like the only organizer for Transgender Day of Remembrance. And what I'm seeing is the youth, transgender, gender expansive, and intersex youth that are really being engaged
Oh, I love that.
with activism,
Hmm.
with being able to be in community, to offering up supports and
Hmm.
finding their path. So, not only was the event that we held with community partners here in Santa Clara County the only event, but there was also going to be one from the folks at San Jose State University, a group called Trans Talks.
Yes.
There was also San Jose People's Pride that held one over the weekend. So we were seeing like a lot of youth advocates that are out there. Um, and it just shows a lot of promise with the youth that's leading the movement, because the
Hmm.
youth are the ones that are being affected.
I love that so much.
Yeah,
And I so often hear people talking about the youth as future leaders. And I
yeah,
always want to say, no, no, no.
yeah.
They're leading us now.
Yes,
The
yes,
youth are
absolutely.
leading us on climate action, on gun control
Mm-hmm,
and safety,
mm-hmm.
and now I'm learning on LGBTQ and trans rights.
Yeah,
That is cool.
it is.
I love to work with students and youth
Yeah,
from all ages. I love to lift up their efforts, and
yeah.
this just makes me so happy to hear.
Yeah,
So
the proclamation you gave was to a group called Trans Teach, and
yes.
they're like the equivalent of our LGBTQ summit that happens annually here in Santa Clara County. So the content they're creating, the
Hmm.
guests they're inviting in, it's really really like moving stuff. So make
I
sure to check
love
them out.
it.
Yeah,
So thanks to all the youth, and thanks to you,
of
Sarah.
course,
And
anytime.
I will be back with just one more thing. And just one more thing I want to share today is, reflecting as a parent who raised 3 children in San Jose, and of course had fantasies and dreams that they would all live within blocks of me and we would scurry between each other's houses all the time. That has not happened. I have a child in San Francisco, one in Washington, D.C., and one who recently moved back to San Jose. But uh, this week is Thanksgiving, and one of the things that I am truly the most thankful for is that all of my children do come home. They want to be with each other, they want to be with me and Steve, and I kind of feel like that's a parenting win when your adult children want to spend time with you, even if they don't live as close as you might have thought they would. So that is just one more thing.